Hey, what's happening? This is your host Tinto, and before we get started on this week's episode, I'd like to give a shout out to the following that got me coffees. Starting with you, him being Gandu, and your comment there is, thank you for making the drive home from work so much easier when I'm too tired for music. That's a really generous gift. Thank you so much. And then the one and only Tichi Today Bogus coming through as usual. Thank you so much for your contribution. And your comment there is the last two episodes hectic. Hey, could you go with Rumbi? Good to see you again. And your comment there is topping up, but special mention for so you're now in love from episode 105. Thanks for your generous contribution. And last but not least, Chi, thank you for your coffees. And your comment there is thank you again for the amazing podcast. Keep the great content coming. Well, I'll do my best to keep the content coming. If you'd like to give in a similar manner, you've got two options now, and I guess that's news for most of you. You can head over to www.buymeacoffe.com/feeling station, and as usual, give as your spirit leads. And you should always remember that there is nothing too small to give the podcast you've grown to love. But now I can also purchase a TFS t-shirt by coming into the Feeling Stations. DM, give us your t-shirt size, and I'll arrange to send that to you either via post or drop it off. In terms of prices, if I drive to where you are, and that's assuming you live close to where I am, I'll come over and that's £20. And if I need to send it to you in the post, that is £25. How cheap is that for a great quality t-shirt? If you've seen anybody wearing it, DM them. They will tell you these t-shirts are phenomenal. With that out of the way, let's get started on this weekend's episode.
We used to be best friends, used to do good things together. Oh no, but no more.
It's just a distant memory.
My homie, buddy, cousin, it all just fell apart. I'm sorry.
Nah, I'm not sorry.
It's just a distant memory. Yeah, yeah. My said, who's bestie? Tato Choco, come on. Tato Choco, come on. My nini said, who's bestie? Tato Choco, come on. Tato Choco, come on. My nini said, who's
Hi.
Hey, what's happening?
I'm good. How are you?
If people knew what we just did 2 seconds ago, they'll be getting in on the joke, but tough. They don't get what's going on.
Tough.
Welcome to the Feeling Station.
Thank you.
You're joining at a very interesting time because starting 2022, I'm starting to do friendship and family breakups.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you are one of the first to do this series. So no pressure. People are going to be judging your guan.
Please, I'll hang up.
For those listening to this podcast for the first time, just like I said, it used to focus just on romantic relationship breakups, but now it's expanded to family and friendship breakups. And the reason why it's doing great is, in fact, there are two reasons. First up, I do my best to keep my guests anonymous. So that brings me to the fun part, where I give it the name that you're going to use for the duration of the episode. You ready for this one?
Yep.
So your name is Olufemi, and that's from Nigeria. And that name means God loves me.
God loves me.
Yeah.
Olufemi.
Is that relatable by any chance?
No, not at the moment. I think he loved me. I don't know. I'm having a faith crisis. Okay.
Conversation for another day, right?
Another day.
Right. So you could either call yourself Olufemi, Olu, or Femi. That's entirely up to you.
Okay.
And what are you going to call the person you are talking about today?
I'm going to call her baby girl.
Oh, yeah, that's nice and easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Easy
So this
to remember.
Yeah. So this is about baby girl and Olufemi.
Yeah.
And the second reason why the podcast is doing great is there are real life lessons that people learn from what you're going to talk about today. So, you got any lessons for me?
Yes, I do.
Right. Shoot. What's number one?
My first lesson is one red flag is enough. Leave if you see that red flag. Like you don't need a lot.
Ooh.
Even in platonic relationships.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. And have you got a second one?
Yes. So my second one is do not outsource your inner critique to other people.
Ooh.
Because you tend to lose yourself or when people tell you who you are. So
pretty much you tend to judge yourselves based on what people think about
exactly.
you. Yeah, that's deep. I really like those. So I'll just play those back. Lesson number one red flag is enough. Even if it's in platonic relationships, you need to leave. And then lesson number 2, don't outsource your inner critique to other people because we tend to judge ourselves based on what people think about us. Mad. That is real deep. So, Olufemi, you and baby girl, what happened?
Okay, so it was in my second year of university. I needed to transfer colleges, mostly because the one I was going to was quite expensive, like out of pocket.
Yeah.
So in the process of me looking for schools, I had this genius idea that if I look for other people from my country who are in this country going to different schools, it will be easier for me to kind of get information.
Oh, yeah.
But one day, or this faithful day, I was scrolling on Twitter, and then I came across this profile, this girl, and she had posted something that was getting a lot of traction, and it was like a church quote or something. So I was like, okay, what happens if I open her profile? And, what are the odds that she's going to university? I opened the profile, and there it was, her uni and her graduation year in her bio.
Wow.
So I did a little bit of research on the school, and I was like, wow, this school is dirt cheap. But it was in an area I would never, ever, ever look at. Never.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? Let me DM her. So I DM'd her on some, hey, baby girl, I noticed you go to the school. Can you help me out with some information? And she literally gave me her number, and she was like, can we FaceTime tomorrow and you can ask all the questions you want?
Oh, nice.
And I was like, wow, she's very receptive. This
Yeah.
is very nice. So the next day we had a FaceTime call, and I decided to apply to the school. She sold the school so well, and also from what I was seeing from the website and reviews, I was like, this is a very good school. But my only reservation was it was a church school. So I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you've already mentioned that you're having a faith crisis. So faith crisis and then going into church school, it's like you're going into deeper waters when you can't swim.
Exactly. However, my mindset then was, I'm having these weird questions, about religion, but if I go to a church school, I might get the answers I need.
Right.
So I didn't pay attention to, the church part. I was like, it's cheap, I'm going.
Yeah.
So baby girl helped me apply, because this school is kind of weird in that they have like a church application for students. So I did not know this church. I didn't know anyone who went to the church. So baby girl helped me, with the church part of the application.
So when you say the church part, does that mean that they'll be asking what the church is about, what they believe in, and they're asking you to confirm you believe in such things, etc.?
Well, close enough. So you have a series of interviews. If you don't go to the church, they want to make sure that you're not a serial killer. You won't pollute their kids at the school. So
some of these forms are a bit funny. Who's gonna write and say, yes, I'm a serial killer, and yes, I'm gonna come and do damage on campus?
Yeah, right. So they'll ask you like dumb questions, like, do you drink alcohol? And of course, you have to say no if you want to go to the school.
Wow.
And you go through like some questions are very invasive. Like they talk about your sexual life.
You are joking.
I wish, and it's just you and the male.
Just give me give me one typical question they would ask about your sex life. Like, would they ask you, are you a virgin or not?
Okay, yeah, that's a given. So they'll ask you if you're a virgin. If you say yes, it ends there. If it says no, they'll ask you how many times with how many people were you pleasured?
You know
how many positions? It's with a male person. It's not like a female, church leader. You have to do it with a male person, one-on-one. It was very uncomfortable.
Excuse me, that is nuts. Okay, so when you were asked that question, did you say yes or no in terms of if you had sex or not?
Yes. I said yes. I hadn't. Then please, I was not lying. I was not lying. Okay, I was not lying.
Okay.
Okay. So fast forward, I get in, I get accepted, and I'm excited to leave this place I was. I used to stay with my family as well, so I didn't have a college experience where I had roommates. I was living on campus, so excited for the move. And then baby girl asked me if we could be roommates. And I was
Oh,
like, yeah.
geez, this thing is advancing real quick. Yeah,
I'm like, oh,
mad.
she helped me apply. Now I'm a roommate. I don't have to worry about finding a place because the school also has like specific housing for single people, for married people, for old people. So I was like, that's a relief. So I start school. The semester starts. I go there. My first day, she made a killer dinner. She invited her friends over, to introduce me to them, and everyone was nice. And this was my first experience seeing like more than two Africans in one sitting. I was like, oh my
Wow.
God, diversity.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. And so she helped me like buy my pots, my pans, my groceries because we had to cook for ourselves. We lived in an apartment. So cool. Everything is good. She even went on to help me find a job where she was working. And she also switched one class, like we had to take like religion classes. So she switched her religion class to get into mine so she could help me with homework and studying. So she did the most. And
So
I was so happy.
you guys went in the same stream, were you?
We were all okay. We were same graduation class. But I'll tell you now that she was 10 years older. I later discovered she was 10 years older than me, but we're in the same class.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tempted to ask, but also tempted not to ask any
Well, yeah.
questions like that because,
Mm-hmm.
but when I went to uni, the uni that I went to, if I was say 19, there were easily people who were 49
Yeah.
on campus doing the same sort of thing. So that's not abnormal. In fact, it's part of what they call adult education.
Okay.
And if I was to go to uni now, I wouldn't be too far from that. Well, not 49, but I would be considered an adult education student, an adult student. So,
Yeah.
so the 10-year gap is not that big of an issue. But I'm just trying to think. You went on Twitter and then you noticed that she was at this uni. Was she at the uni already, or that's the uni she was going to?
She was already there.
Okay.
So she had started from like freshman year and we were both in our sophomore year. And then this was like our second semester in our sophomore year.
Okay, yeah. That's because you had already started elsewhere, hadn't you? And you're
Yeah,
just doing
I
a
started
transfer.
elsewhere.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense now. Gotcha.
Well, it's something I wasn't used to. Like I was the youngest in my apartment. Like I was usually the youngest, and I was like, "What? I'm not used to having like older people in college." But anyways, everything is good. She helped me out, but because we work together, we live together, and we like used to have lunch in the class together. We used to spend so much time together, like a lot. So in the morning, afternoon, when I come home, which I didn't mind because it helped my transition to that place easier. So one time I decided I needed to do my hair. So I asked our baby girl if she could help me find someone who could do my hair. And she gave me the number of one of the girls who came for the dinner when I arrived. So the girl was like, yeah, for sure, do your hair for free. And I was like, oh my God, okay,
Wow.
thanks.
Everything is
Everyone was
proper
very
checking out, huh?
kind. I was living my best life. So I go to do my hair. And then in conversation, I discovered that this girl's doing my hair is my cousin. And
What?
yeah, and I was like, wow,
Mad.
life is good. I have a
Yeah.
cousin. I now have my roommate. I don't need any other friends. This is enough. It's fine. So, as with roommates and like anyone in your life, you kind of have like back and forth sometimes. You always don't agree. But I was starting to see the cracks. I was starting to see, baby girl had moods. Like she was very temperamental.
Oh.
And so the mood swings would go for like 2-3 days. We shared a room, right? And she wouldn't talk to me. And I felt like it was very targeted because like she would be snappy, she wouldn't talk to me. But when with our other roommates, she would be laughing and having fun.
Right.
So
Okay.
I was like, is it me? And me, when people are weird to me, I just give them space. So the more she did that, the more I spent time with my cousin and not her. So lunch, I was opting to have lunch with my cousin. So now we're spending less and less time together. And at some point, I quit my job. So we're no longer working together. So
Oh.
that's fine. It's all good. And
How far into your enrollment had this been?
it's just been a month or even like 3.5 weeks. It
Yo,
hasn't been that long.
that was
Yeah.
quick, ne?
It was so quick.
Yeah.
But the thing is, once I quit my job, she would go to work on her own and stuff, and she'd come and tell me, what was happening. But the strangest thing, Tinto, is when we didn't talk about, her moods or whenever she felt better. So she would be in a mood for like 3 days. She's not talking to me. And then when she feels better, she would like bake 2 cakes and like make dinner or lunch or like breakfast for me. And then she would just write a note and say, hey, like take 1 cake. It's for you. Eat whatever I made. Like you're good. And this would happen. So imagine 5, 6 times it happens. She bakes 2 cakes, she makes food, and that was my indication to know that she's fine, that we're good. Now we can talk.
So, Femi, you don't strike me as the kind of person who wouldn't ask questions if you had questions.
Yeah, no.
So why didn't you ask, hey, what's going on? Like your mood is kind of moving a bit mad.
I'll tell you why. This one time she was crying. It's like Saturday, early in the morning, 6 a.m. She's crying, not even sobbing, like crying. I wake up and I'm like, what is going on? Why is she crying? So I walk over to her. I asked her, hey, are you okay? This girl looked at me. She was facing the wall, looked at me, and she was like, yeah, I'm fine. What's up? And then went straight back to crying. And I was like, ooh, okay. And I was like, oh, it's 6 a.m. in the morning. Where can I go at 6 in the morning? I can't knock on my cousin's apartment right now.
Yeah.
I had to go to the gym and I stayed there for 3 hours.
Yo.
The 2 hours I was sitting down listening to music, hoping that when I come back, she's done crying.
Was she done crying when you got back?
Oh, yeah, no, she was done. And she was reading a book. She used to love reading books. She was reading a book. We never said anything. And then one of her friends called and she changed. She was like, oh, my girlfriend. Oh, I'm so happy. What's up? I'm having a good day. And then she told this friend, like, I'm so glad that you called me to check up on me because no one checks up on me. I feel all alone.
And you were
I'm in the room. Yeah. So
okay.
I feel like she was being passive aggressive. I don't know. And that started to annoy me. So the more she would do those things, the, more detached I was becoming. Hi. So, and I was like, I'm also the age part, right? I'm like, this girl is like 10 years older. She's an elder. My mom told me to respect my elders. So I'm not trying to, talk to her. She can deal with the stuff. I guess she knows, how to work on it.
Yeah.
Okay. So one day, so also baby girl used to post a lot, like on Instagram, like Instagram stories. She was an activist of some sort. So every time I would be there, she'd ask me to like, support her page and all those things. And, as a good roommate, that's what I did. Then one day, we're good. It's not like we're not talking. We're actually good. We're fine. I go to class and then I meet up with my cousin to have lunch. So during lunchtime, I'm busy scrolling on Twitter and Instagram, And then I went on my Instagram and I didn't see baby girl's story. And I was like, maybe she hasn't posted. But I was like, never.
She's a social media lady. She loves social media. So there's a higher chance she'd have posted something than not posted something.
Exactly, yeah. And then also to note, when she had her moods, she would delete all her social media. And then when she's fine, she bakes the cakes and then comes back, like, yeah. So I don't know what was happening that day. My gut feeling was like, ask cousin to check if baby girl is posted. So cousin checks to see if baby girl is posted, and guess what?
Baby girl had posted
2 hours ago.
Oh,
and I was like, why am I not seeing her stories? I'm so confused.
Were
and
you
then
blocked?
I'm like, wait. I was like going through the stories. I'm like, I'm not seeing it. And cousin was like, oh, refresh your Instagram because maybe there's a bug or something. I'm like, okay, cool. I did. I'm like, no stories. And then cousin was like, this is unlikely, but search for a username. If you can't find it, then she for sure blocked you. Block me for what? I searched for a username, and guess what? User not found.
Yeah.
I've been blocked. And I was like, huh? I get confused about a whole lot of things, but I was so confused that day. I was blocked. My cousin's like, what did you do? Why would she block you? You know? And I went on WhatsApp, blocked, Snapchat blocked, Twitter blocked, Facebook blocked, phone number blocked, everything.
Like all social media.
Everywhere. I was blocked everywhere. And I was like, okay. So I had the class I had with baby girl soon after lunch. So I was like, no worries. I'm gonna ask her what's going on in class or after class. I went to class. Guess what? She didn't come. Typical. And now, so I went from being confused to getting annoyed to, getting angry.
Yeah.
I went home. She didn't come home that night. Or maybe she did, like way later when I was sleeping, and then she left like first thing in the morning. I didn't see her. So now it's day 2 of me trying to find this girl everywhere. And the campus was huge. So I was like, you know what?
So she wasn't sleeping in the room?
No, that night, I don't know if she slept in the room. I slept early that day because, I was tired. But I'm not sure if she came like after midnight and left at like 4 in the morning. Because by the time I woke up at 5, she was gone. Or maybe she slept over at a friend's place because, of course, she wouldn't face me after what she had done. Then I was like, and I was looking for your friends. I'm like, have you seen baby girl? And they're like, yeah, she just went to the library. I ran to the library. She's not there. Like literally, it was like a weird game. So I went home early that day because I knew she would be home. I went home and then baby girl was there sitting, reading a book like nothing's going on. I get in the room. I was like, I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to, keep my composure. But as soon as I saw her, I lost it. I was like, hey, why did you block me, girl? Like, what's going on? What's this? And she ignored me the first time. I asked her one more time and she looked at me dead in the eye and she was like, you know why I blocked you?
Oh.
I was like, no, I don't. I wouldn't be asking, And she was like, okay, I'll tell you. So one reliable person in my circle told me that you are going around campus running your mouth saying baby girl is abusing me. Why would she admit me to the college? And note this, why would she admit me here if I was going to come and suffer? I hate it. I hate her. And so I feel like my initial reaction to what she said pissed her off because I laughed. I literally I was like, I thought it was a prank. I'm like, girl, okay, give me the real deal. Like, is this? Are you planning a surprise? Well, what are you doing? And she was like, oh, so you're laughing. Oh, okay. You think this is a joke to me, huh? Hey, okay. And I was like, girl, are you serious? And she's like, yeah, I'm for real. Why would you say that? I trusted you. And I was like, wait, pipe down. First of all, I didn't say that. Like, I was so perplexed. I was so bamboozled, confused. I'm like, what is he saying? And I was like, who's this reliable person? And she said, that's none of your business. Just know she's reliable and I trust her. I'm like, so you trust this person saying all this hogwash and you don't come to me at least to communicate. You just block me, but you forgot to block me in real life. Because guess what? We stay in the same room.
Oh,
so how is that going to work? How was that going to work? And she was like, I'll just ignore you. And I'm like, girl, I didn't do it. Like now I'm like telling her, why would I say that? I talk to cousin and you. Those are the only people I talk to. And, I've just been here for like a month and a half. I don't know anyone. So whoever is saying this, now I'm worried because why would they, tarnish my image? And she was like, well, you know what? Right now I'm getting heated up, so get out of my face before I say something I'll regret. And I was like, yes! And I was so mad, like I was boiling, but I'm like, she's an elder. Respect the elders. Got my things, went to my cousins, and I started crying. Like I was so frustrated. I started crying. I'm like, what the heck is this? Everything has been good, but like, look at what's going on and all those things. But now at the back of my mind, I'm like, I only talk to cousin. So is she the one who Like, but I never say those words. But is she like,
is she doing a
telling
number
her
on
other
you?
things? Yeah, and I was like, anyways, it's fine. She's the only person I have right now. So, I started avoiding her like a plague. Like, I would not go to my room. I would just go to shower and sleep and make sure, she doesn't see me. We're not breathing the same air at the same time. And this happened for like a week and a half. And then at some point, I was like, I can't take this. I'm also paying, to stay here. Like,
Yeah.
I need to be comfortable
Yeah.
in my room. So I went to her and I asked her, I was like, hey, girl, can we talk about this? And she was a little bit calm. And I told her my piece. And then guess what she told me? She's like, well, my therapist said I should remove any negative thing in my life. So you are a negative thing in my life. So I'm not gonna forgive you. And I'm like, girl, you are older than me. You should be acting mature.
And the thing is, the whole time you don't know why you are in this position.
Tinto, if someone blocks you, you kind of have an idea. Like maybe I said some nonsense, maybe I did this or maybe I didn't do this. I had no clue. Besides someone, in quotes, framing me for something I didn't say. So I was like, okay, girl, I'm done. Baby girl, I'm done with you. Please, I'm done. Don't expect anything from me. I'm good. Then she was like, fine. So that weekend, so this was like a Wednesday. So that weekend, baby girl was going out of town. So she wasn't going to be home the whole weekend. And I was celebrating. I'm like, oh my God, I have the room to myself. I'm going to have a party. And then so the Friday she was leaving, I went into the room and surprisingly she was still there. I thought she had gone. And I see a letter on my bed. And I'm like, letter. So I went over to the letter. I'm like, do I have a secret admirer?
Yeah.
And then I opened the letter. I see it's her. It's from her. And she's in the room looking at me. When you can know someone is staring at you. And then I closed the letter, took whatever I wanted, and then left. I left the letter on my bed. I'm like, oh hell no, we're not doing that.
Now, why
No.
didn't you take the letter with you?
I think I was just frustrated. I'm like, so you can say all this mean stuff to me in my face, but now you're writing a letter. So why can't you say it in my face? And like, what is this letter? Is it more insults? You want me to read more insults? No, I'm not doing that. And also pride. I'm like, I won't read it. I just want to make her squirm,
Yeah.
So baby girl leaves for the weekend. I come back home. I read the letter and it was her basically saying she made this whole thing up because I've been spending more time with my cousin. And basically, she admitted me, admitted me to the school. And why was I abandoning her now? Looking for other friends, not hanging out with her. And she's going through some family issues.
Wait a minute. Are we in a high school or we are in university here?
Uni, and she's what? 10 years older. She's 10 years older than me. And she was like, I'm facing some mental health things. So I'm really, sorry for how I've been acting, but it's not my fault. So she literally blamed, her situation. And the thing is, like, baby girl was also going around campus telling people. So she's like, wow, going around telling people that, I am abusing her and I'm not treating her well and all those things. She's not a good person. Don't trust her. She's not also part of this church. So, they are heathens. So you see why, stay away from her, And so I would notice like a lot of people were forming like weird opinions about me. And because I was new and they trusted her because they knew her longer, I was now,
You're an easy target.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I internalized, those comments and like those opinions. And I started to doubt myself and I got so much anxiety. I was like, so am I that bad? Because I'm like, I know I'm self-aware, but am I missing something? Like, do I come across like, as this person? Like someone won't just frame me unless they see something in me that's, capable of saying those things. So am I a bad person? Like, what am I missing? Like, I did not want to go to campus. I was like in my room, so sad. And then I still, cared about what people thought of me. So now I was sitting on my own. If my cousin was not there in the cafeteria, no one wanted to hang out with me. And baby girl even went on to call like my cousin's cousin to tell her, hey, please tell cousin to stay away from Femi because she's a bad influence on her. They're always playing whatever, and she's no longer going to church, all those things. And I was like, what? So, anyways,
so all of this is happening. You've been given some insight. So she's come over to you and said, hey, look, I've got mental health issues. I'm struggling mentally. I've got stuff happening at home. And I guess you felt a little left out, right?
Yeah.
So for you, somebody has openly told you, you are not the problem. I am the problem. So why were you now internalizing what everything else was saying?
Well, I found out that she was going around telling these people before I read the letter.
Oh, right. Okay. Gotcha.
And then in the letter, she framed it in a way that, I've been like, Femi, you've been avoiding me. We haven't been spending so much time together. So now I'm lonely and I'm having this depressive thoughts because you are not there for me. And you're hanging out with your cousin more than you're hanging out with me. I admitted you to the school, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So I was like, okay, at least you wrote something, but still she's not taking 100% blame for her actions. Anyways, so she comes back from her trip and we sit down, we have a heart to heart. I was like, girl, I'm not really good with confrontation. And, I want us to communicate. I feel like we've stayed longer with each other to talk about things. And I just don't see you as my roommate. I see you as my friend. And she was like, yeah, same. So I was wondering why you were leaving me behind, And I was like, because you were acting up. So I gave you your space. But if you thought me giving you space was like me avoiding you, you should have voiced that out instead of like blocking me and making up a whole story. And she was like, okay, I'll work on it. So we went back to being friends. But I was still, I didn't trust her. I told her, hey, for you to earn my trust, you need to, show me your actions. Because, like, if you tell me that you're sorry, but then after 2 days you go into your moods, then I won't trust you.
It's difficult for you, yeah.
Exactly. So she was like, okay, cool. So she changed for a week. It lasted a week, by the way. And so one also problem she was having was like financial problems. So I was like, if I could help out, I will. So I was like, girl, I'll buy the groceries. Don't worry. You just cook. Like I made it seem like, don't worry, we can exchange. I'll be the grocery shopper. You cook for us, whenever you can. During lunch, we had to pay for food. So I was like, girl, I got you. We'll pay as long as we are hanging out together, you're fine. But then she started feeling very entitled. So we would have like a group of Africans in the cafeteria and we'll all sit together and have lunch, but we each paid for our own lunch. And she'll tell people, like, before I come into the cafeteria, it's like, no, don't worry, Femi's got it.
Femi's got it for who? For everyone or just for her?
For her,
Okay.
every single time.
Aye.
One time I had like $7 in my account. I'm like, girl, I don't got you. And she'd already ordered. So I had to pay for her food. I was like, she's taking advantage of me now.
Yeah.
But me being the good, loyal roommate, I was like, it's fine. She's struggling, mental health, all those things. Let me not cause any problems. Okay, so one time, we had like a petty argument. Like it was so petty. Like I don't even remember exactly what it was. But she went on like a 3-day mood. She blocked me again. She was going through a lot, and that's when I was like, I've had it. I'm done. My mother didn't bring me here to suffer. No, I'm done with this girl. And I was telling my parents, I'm like, hey, I need to go home early. Because like I'm tired of the school. I'm depressed. All those things. My roommate is not being nice and all those things. And then that's it. So I talked to her. I was like, hey, girl, I'm done. You can walk over me all you want. I know you're older. Maybe that's why you feel like you can act this way, but I won't take this. Let's just be roommates. We can be good roommates, but we're no longer friends. It's fine. So she was like, okay, that's fine, that's cool. I don't want to be your friend anyway. You act like a spoiled brat, blah blah blah.
How was
And I was
that gonna
like, that's
how was that
fine.
gonna work if you guys were gonna be roommates?
I was like, we can be good roommates, but I've had roommates that were not my friends. Like we can be normal, can clean, we can act like good people, civilized people, but we don't have to be friends.
Yeah.
So she blocked cousin as well. Cousin was blocked by association. My sister was
Hey.
blocked by
Ah.
association. I was like, sorry guys, sorry guys.
Wow.
So I went home for the break, the summer break, and then at some point she unblocked me again. I don't know, this is the third or fourth time, and she messaged me and she called me, and basically after the call, I told her, hey, I'm still feeling the same. I still don't want to be your friend. Like, I'm sorry, I forgive you or whatever, but I don't want to be your friend.
Yeah.
And then she blocked me again for the last time up to now. And that was it. I never heard from her. I never talked to her. I never saw her on campus. Like, I avoided her. And that's the story.
So you're not at the same uni anymore, are you?
No, we've both graduated. Like,
How long has it
done.
been since the graduation?
It's been like,
Would that be too much info?
yeah, that's very recent. Like, it's recent. Last year. Okay, I would say last year.
Oh, last year.
Mm-hmm.
What a damn shame.
Yeah.
And by the time that you graduated, were you guys still roommates or you're no longer roommates?
Oh no! So after the semester, so we stayed roommates for like 3 months, 3.5 months, and then after that, I never saw her. I never talked to her, never found her, never saw her. So
you never saw her on campus. You were not in the
anyway.
same room. That is strange. Do you think she was still on campus by
No,
the
she
time you
was.
graduated?
So also the campus that I was at when we were roommates, I had to switch campuses. So also that's also another reason. I was like, I'm not coming back to this campus. I'm going to another one. So also that's why I couldn't see her, because we're at different campuses at this point.
You know, what a damn shame, because for somebody who was so helpful from the onset and made you feel very comfortable, for her to then turn around and be the very same person that makes you feel very uncomfortable is quite unfortunate.
Yeah. I guess, the admission part that I kept on saying, she felt entitled, right? She helped me apply. She saw that and she was telling people, right, even her host parents, that, hey, I helped Femi apply, so she kind of owes me, She wouldn't be here if it were not for me. Now she's acting this way, but I made this possible. So she, she was very entitled to who I would talk to, the friends I'd hang out with, everything I would do just because she helped me apply. So I guess that's also the reason why. I don't know. It was so strange.
What a shame. On a scale of 1 to 5, how much do you miss her?
0. Miss her for what? I don't miss her at all.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that, and even the way that you said it, my goodness,
No,
I can really feel it within you that at least you're done with this.
Yeah, as I say, I tried to give her so many chances, and she was just causing me pain, and I was
just didn't happen.
I don't need this.
I'm just going back to the lessons as we close this out then. So your first one was, one red flag is enough. Even if it's in platonic relationships, you need to leave. How could you have left? Because this was your roommate.
I left mentally. I checked out mentally. Because of course we're staying in the same room.
But physically, I know people who are not mentally together. But by being in the same space, they physically need to be together. It is actually even more difficult. Because if the person snores and you've mentally checked out, what are you gonna say to that person?
Please, you're making noise.
But they can't help it. They can't help it. So they will always know. So what are you gonna do? You're stuck.
See, that's why we're always arguing now after the breakup, because I was like, she was like, you're making noise. You're breathing too heavily.
This is the point I'm making. So for you, I get it that one red flag is normal enough for you to check out, but you physically couldn't have left. You
Yeah.
were stuck in a building, unless maybe the uni would have allowed you to switch roommates, and I don't know how easy it was to do.
It wasn't easy. I couldn't switch.
No, I didn't think it was. Hey, sorry. Eish.
Ish.
And then lesson number 2: don't outsource your inner critique to other people, because we tend to judge ourselves based on what people think about us, and I think that makes sense, because you're now starting to look at yourself and say, okay, something wrong with me based on things that were going round and you didn't even know where they were coming from until much, much, much later.
Yeah.
Well, at least you got your peace of mind now.
Yeah.
You're off campus, and hopefully wherever you are now, you're not going to be bumping into people who are going to give you the same energy. Does that mean that if somebody is overly welcoming to you, you're a bit wary of them now?
Yeah. I literally judge them. I'm like, you're too nice. I say this word. I don't like people who are too nice to me, because what if you have like a hidden agenda or something?
What a damn shame. Well, I hope it doesn't play too far and extend to people who are genuinely angels in your life.
Oh yeah, no, I'm doing the inner work. Hey, I feel like
Yeah.
I've been working on improving myself and like going to therapy. I did go to therapy when it happened because I never had like a romantic relationship. This is my toxic all-time relationship, so
Yeah.
I needed to do the inner work.
Well, good on you, Femi.
Thank
And
you.
honestly, I hope it doesn't manifest itself in ways that could be detrimental later on. But you really, really sound like you're doing all right.
Oh, yeah, I'm good. I'm chilling.
Well, for those who've been listening to this episode, again, the 2 lessons that came out: 1, red flag is enough, and then secondly, don't judge your inner critique based on others, because let me read that properly. Right? Don't outsource your inner critique to other people, because we tend to judge ourselves based on what people think about us. You've been listening to another episode of The Feeling Station. I'm your host, Tinto, and I'll catch you in next weekend's episode. Peace.
My name is Sekuru, best